Next on BYUSN, it's draft day in the NFL. BYU quarterback Jaren Hall will join us to preview what he's feeling before the biggest professional weekend of his life to date. Kevin Costner, eat your heart out.
And what would make this year's draft good, better, and best for BYU football?
Welcome to BYU Sports Nation, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. It is Thursday, April 27th. It is commencement day at Brigham Young University. I am Spencer Linton alongside the unfiltered Jarom Jordan today.
Just today? I felt like it was pretty unfiltered most days.
Well, we're on the app only today.
We're app only, so thanks for finding us, first off. Commencement's on BYU. So congratulations, an early rise and shout out to all the graduates, which is super cool. It's hard to get a college degree. Only, hundreds of thousands of people do it every year. But it's very exciting for that because that's a cool accomplishment. So congratulations. What it means is we are app only, so we can just do whatever today.
That's what I'm saying.
Substitute teacher vibes today. Throw the Laserdisc on, and we're just watching a movie, okay? So now we're just going to watch the highlights from the 1984 National Championship season. Good night, everybody.
This is the unrated edition of BYU Sports Nation.
Yeah, right. Salt Lake would have our heads. On today's show, the good, better, and best of the NFL draft for BYU. We'll tell you what that looks like in our opinion. Jaren Hall will join the program. Who's he hearing from? Who are the best fits in his opinion? Also, where does he fit in the BYU quarterback pantheon? Perhaps he'll answer, maybe not. Carson Lundell on the WCC Championships, his conversation with Spencer ahead of that. And what does Aaron Rodgers mean when he says he's going to make Zach Wilson's life heaven off the field? Here are today's headlines.
This is a heavenly show. NFL Draft Night, first round specifically tonight. Jaren Hall, Blake Freeland, and Puka Nacua all expected to be drafted, just not tonight in the first round. Rounds 2 through 7 happen on Friday and Saturday.
Softball wins against Utah Tech, 4-3, thanks to Hunter Ava's 10th homer of the season, and it looked like this.
2 balls and a strike. Ava, that is a laser to center field and out of here. Hunter Ava has entered double figures in the home run category, her 10th of the season.
Ava you. Yeah, it's gone, baby. Cougars 25-13 overall now after the win. They go San Diego tomorrow for a 3-game series. Friday doubleheader 7 Eastern on the BYU TV app. I really like the blocking of the sun. It took a minute to figure that out for the sun delays. I like that out in left center.
It's advancement.
Oh, but look at it. Wow. This shot is amazing. J.J. Abrams loving it.
The sun flare.
Little flare, little lens flare. Yeah.
BYU, by the way, hosting number 2 UCLA on Monday.
I like that. I like that.
It's quite the weekend and Monday for BYU softball.
It's a trap series against San Diego.
BYU baseball opens a very important West Coast Conference series against Portland this weekend at home. First game, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain. You can watch that on the BYU TV and BYU radio apps if you'd like to listen. The Batcats, 7-8 in conference, probably need to finish a game over 500 to feel confident about making the WCC postseason tournament.
Yeah, need to be top 6 there. Austin Deming guaranteed to homer. Number 44 men's golf currently playing in round 1 of the WCC tournament in Bremer, Washington. As we speak, just moments away from teeing off. We'll keep you updated with that throughout today's show and tomorrow.
3-time first-team All-West Coast Conference women's golfer Alicia May Mateo has earned an individual trip to the NCAA Regionals. This is her 3rd consecutive year doing that in that specific regard. She tied for 10th in the WCC Championships last weekend.
Men's tennis begins play at the WCC Tournament, 4 Eastern. Cougars led by Jack Barnett and Wally Thane, who earned all conference honors in both singles and doubles.
Women's tennis competing at the WCC Tournament today, beginning at 1 Eastern. Bobo Huang was named singles All-WCC first team. Emily Astle, Jackie Dunyan, Tina Lee all earned honors for their play in doubles. All rise and shout. It's time for what's trending on draft day.
Hall with a house call. Touchdown Cougars.
He tested through the roof, and he's one player that has a significant amount of buzz.
Here's their best player, Puka Nacua, with the great footwork.
Let's go. Good, better, best. And we are referencing a great general conference talk from the great Elder Dieter F. Uchtdorf when we say good, better,
My favorite
best.
German apostle of all time.
How does it relate to the NFL draft and the big three for BYU football as they push through the weekend? Jarom, what would good, better, and best look like for BYU football as a whole in this year's 2023 NFL draft?
Good is 3 picks. Better is 3 picks and, 2 of those in the top, 4 rounds, probably.
Okay.
And then best would be 2 in the top 3 rounds with probably 4 overall picks if we're going, super ambitious. So let's just talk best. So Blake Freeland in, the end of the 2nd round, Jaren Hall in the 3rd, Puka in the 5th, and Caleb Hayes sneaking in the 7th. That would be, the realistic, what feels like best case scenario for BYU football. If there's, an off-the-board option here of disappointing or bad, it'd be that there aren't 3 picks. It's not bad to only have 2 picks, but we're certainly expecting 3, so that would be disappointing.
Yeah, we've seen Puka Nacua in the 7th round. What if he slid off the board?
He could be off the board.
That'd be super disappointing.
That is a possibility given some of the injuries and unfortunately a concussion in the Senior Bowl. I think if Puka plays in the Senior Bowl fully that week, he's drafted for sure. He still may be drafted, no problem. But we'll see what that looks like. But that's what best looks like to me. But I don't want to just talk draft because free agency matters. Of the 14 dudes in the NFL from BYU right now, 6 were undrafted, including Taysom Hill, including Daniel Sorensen, who have been stalwarts for 5+ years in the league. So I think about the guys that may not be drafted, and let's say, one of the big 3 don't. Okay, they are going to get picked up by somebody, and hopefully they stick. Caleb Hayes, probably undrafted, maybe he sneaks in, but he is a guy that could stay in the league, a la Michael Davis, another undrafted guy who has been a starter and has a big contract and everything. Harris LaChance, Peyton Wilgar, Gunnar Romney.
Christopher Brooks.
Can some of these other guys stick in a way that is meaningful? The draft is awesome, don't get me wrong, but half the league is undrafted. We would be remiss if we ignored that piece of this puzzle.
Typically, if you're taken somewhere in the first 5 rounds, let's use Tyler Algier as a case study. And you're a skill player. If you're taken in the first 5 rounds, pretty good shot. At worst, you're going to be on a practice squad on the team that drafted you. The 6th and 7th rounds, it's a total wild card. I mean, you absolutely have to just go and earn your spot. And you're competing. The margin is so thin between guys taken in the 6th and 7th rounds and those priority free agent signings.
Yeah.
There's just no guarantee if it's that late.
Kyrus Tonga, credit to him, 7th round pick who was stuck in the league.
Dax Milne.
Awesome.
Same scenario.
Dax Milne.
Chris Wilcox.
That 20, yes. And Chris, hasn't played in games to the same degree, but he is still in the league. He is with the Steelers, this spring, which is great.
For me, the good draft would be what the expectation is right now, which is just 3 players taken. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Just simply, it doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when, which team you go to. If BYU has 3 draft picks, awesome. That's 3 more guys that have been specifically selected in the most prestigious draft of any American sport. And it's just 3 more guys for us to pay attention to in the league. BYU's already got a nice core of guys in the league making an impact and a difference. Now we add 3 more. Better? Yeah, now we start to look at the rounds that guys are taken in. I would love for Blake Freeland to, at worst, be drafted in the 3rd round. So better draft would probably be like Blake Freeland's taken early 3rd round, Jaren Hall goes by at least the 5th round, and Puka Nacua just gets drafted. Mm-hmm. Then the best, and I'm trying to bring in some type of realism here of something that could actually happen, and that is maybe both Blake Freeland and Jaren Hall are drafted before the 4th round, and then Puka Nacua is like a 6th round pick, and Caleb Hayes sneaks in the 7th round with that blazing 40 time and just his off-the-chart metrics from BYU's Pro Day. And the Cougars have 4 draft picks. But, yeah, it's way bigger than that. Christopher Brooks is a guy that I feel like is going to be in a scenario where he has several options. I don't think he's going to be picked, but he'll have several options.
Yes, he is higher on boards than we probably think. And he had a better season than we think. I think we've kind of crapped on his season a little more than is deserved. He averaged 6 yards a carry. He had 800 yards. He missed a couple games. Had a hamstring, had an ankle.
Yeah, dealt with some injuries.
This dude was going to have a 1,000-yard season. He had a good season. Was he as good on 3rd and short as we wanted? Did it cost BYU in a couple of games? Yes. But he had a good season. And physically, The scouts are probably drooling over this dude.
Look at him.
He looks like a superhero. He really does. He may be cast in a DC movie soon. We don't know that. Hopefully DC starts bringing it with the Flash and Blue Beetle, but we'll see. But there are guys, and there are talent. There is talent in BYU football right now that wasn't as kind of deep as it was, say, a decade ago. I recall at some point feeling like the NFL draft didn't matter at one point with BYU football, and that's where I started to have my thing where I'd say, well, if it's inconvenient, we can't just ignore it. And the NFL draft is a thing that is a highlight of BYU football now each year, where we go, how many picks are you going to have? And it's validating. You can have like a decent program with few draft picks, but obviously more picks means better players, more wins, more ingredients, Papa John's. Like, let's get all of this. It matters. Kalani Sitake has said it does matter. It's their job to help these guys get in a position to make the NFL. And I would love to see BYU get to the 20 mark of NFL guys in the next couple of years.
They're close.
14, hopefully a couple of these guys stick, like Chris Wilcox and so on. Zane Anderson and Matt Bushman, kind of practice squad flirting with the 53 kind of guys. Yes, practice squad works because you're going to play in a game. Kai Nakua has been around, right, with the Jets and Niners and so on. And then you have the guys. Like, you want Zach Wilson to get a chance to start again. You want Jaren Hall to get a chance to start in the next 2 to 3 years. You want Blake Freeland to be a starting tackle. Or maybe he's a guard, like Brady Christensen moved to left guard for the Panthers. This is the way, and it's with O-line, specifically left tackle. It's with quarterback right now. We expect Keaton Slovis and Kingsley Suamataia to be in the mix next year, perhaps Aiden Robbins. Yes, the skilled positions and whatever else we call the other positions, because we shouldn't call them unskilled. They're certainly skilled in their position. But this is the culmination of some of the best talent that BYU football has gathered over the last couple of decades. You can quantify it in the NFL, undrafted free agents, and obviously in the draft.
Jeremy, I remember not too long ago on this show when we were here saying, on a different desk no less, in a different part of the studio, but still saying, gosh, I hope BYU just has a guy drafted every year. Just one guy drafted every year. Because there were years that were coming and going and nobody was being drafted.
Yep.
It felt like BYU was getting one guy drafted every couple of years. And we were like, man, it'd be nice to have like one draft pick per year. Now we're looking at a scenario where BYU had 5 draft picks in 2020. They capitalized on the COVID season, no doubt. Tyler Algier was the lone draft pick last year, but he burst onto the scene and was a difference maker. And now we're looking at 3 this year, maybe 4. And as of last week, I went through and looked at all of the current statuses of BYU guys in the NFL. I had 13 on active rosters. And then 6 guys on practice squads. Tyson Williams, Zane Anderson, James Empey, Kai Nakua, Matt Bushman, Chris Wilcox. Those 6 plus 13 on active rosters, that's 19. You're talking about getting to the 20 mark. Would the 3 draft picks this year, maybe Caleb Hayes makes a roster, and then a couple of guys that are on practice squads get elevated? It might be this year that BYU has 20 guys actually play on an active roster in an NFL game.
Okay, make it 30 then. In the next
That's the
3
next
years.
step, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Continue to do that. You're a Power 5 program, and you're recruiting at a higher level now. In the transfer portal, we'll talk about this next week. 24/7 Sports says BYU is a top 20 team in the transfer portal right now in terms of who they've gathered.
Fantastic.
Remember how much everyone kind of freaked out when everybody left? Well, you give and you get, and BYU has gotten enough to feel confident not only about this season, but the talent level. Because if we skip ahead to next year, and maybe we'll hit this next week, Kingsley Suamataia, Keaton Slovis,
Connor Pay is a guy that's going to get some attention.
Connor Pay, is Tyler Batty in the mix defensively? Are there
Does
other
BYU
guys
get back in the linebacker game next year, maybe with Max Tooley or Ben Bywater if they're healthy?
Perhaps, right? It's weird because Ben is a junior this year. So, like, he could be here 2 more years.
Like he's been around forever.
Ben Bywater could do something that I'm not sure has ever happened, by the way, in BYU history, which is lead the team in tackles all 4 years.
Wow.
He's done it his first 2 years. He did it as a freshman, which is pretty gnarly, of course, because he knows how to tackle because he played rugby. But this is an exciting time in BYU football history because the Cougars are producing picks. And they're not just like random O-linemen over here. It's quarterback and receiver. It's left tackle, which is the premium tackle position among the O-line. I love it. This is a very exciting time.
All right, our question of the day is, in your opinion, what would good, better, and best look like for BYU in this year's NFL draft? At SamEmery89 on Twitter says, good is having Puka Nacua, Blake Freeland, and Jaren Hall get drafted.
We agree on that one.
Yep. Better is having Caleb Hayes sneak in and having the first 3 get drafted in round 6 or earlier. Okay, very specific. Best is having everyone get drafted to the perfect fit where they can thrive, and also having a bunch of priority free agents get signed.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't talk about sort of fit there. We won't be able to quantify fit for a while. What we should do is evaluate the draft 3, 4, and 5 years ago and be like, how did those end up for BYU?
It seems to have worked out pretty well for a number of BYU
For most guys, like obviously Zach is the exception to that, unfortunately, but we hope he learns and has a great next couple of seasons in whatever form that looks like.
Love what I'm hearing from Aaron Rodgers when he says, my job is to help that guy reestablish his confidence.
He is doing what Brett Favre did not do with him, which is notable.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I respect it,
Yeah,
and
I respect that a lot. I apprate that.
All right, hashtag BYUSN on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Unlike most of what the Jets have done historically. Can't get a segment in without dumping on the Jets. Big series starting tonight. BYU baseball taking on Portland. Oh, man, let's go. 8 Eastern on the BYU TV and BYU radio apps. Austin Deming is on fire.
The Pilots are in second place. Jared, just give me mediocre pitching and good offense, and I'm good. Mediocre pitching, please.
Yeah.
Up next, it's going to be a life-changing weekend for BYU quarterback Jaren Hall. And he is joining us live.
Hey.
The man, looking fresh, looking ready. He's next on BYU Sports Nation.
Trio Orem Senior Living believes in empowering seniors to live life to the fullest. We help eliminate stress out of daily life when you live at Trio. Less time focusing on housework means you can socialize at one of our many events, with safety in mind, of course. And did we mention our spacious apartments with modern amenities? Learn more about setting up a private tour at trioorem.com.
What's that?
A diary. No one knows what happened to Margaret Fraser. Perhaps you can solve the mystery.
People always say I can't do things because I'm autistic. But I know I can. You can. This village needs to understand that it was wrong to judge people for being different then, and it's wrong now. Maggie would never have given up. And neither will I.
It's draft day. It's also graduation day at BYU. Lots happening on BYU Sports Nation. Great
Also
to have you
golf
with us.
day.
It's golf day, apparently.
Every day is golf day.
All
now.
right.
No, it's warm.
This is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. We call it BYUSN. Alongside Jarom Jordan, I'm Spencer Linton. And to fully encapsulate, celebrate what's happening today and through the weekend, we can't think of a better person to join us than BYU quarterback Jaren Hall, who is awaiting his name to be called in the NFL draft. So, Jaren, simply, one, welcome to the show. Great to talk with you, and we appreciate you making time for us in your schedule. How are your emotions right now? You're a very even-keeled dude. How are you feeling right now?
A little excited, a little nervous, a little stressed. Kind of everything comes, ebbs and flows, you know. So just trying keep it together, just enjoy the weekend and enjoy time with family.
What will be the most enjoyable experience out of this whole thing this weekend? And then what will provide perhaps the most stress?
Most enjoyable will just be, be in the living room, my parents' place with our family. And whenever that call comes, when it is, just celebrating and seeing everybody's smiling faces. That's something I've always looked forward to. And then just nervous about, moving on to a new place. I got a wife and a daughter, and, they're going to have to adapt to that and start looking at homes and whatnot. So it's a little stress there, but it's part of life. Got to grow up sometime.
Who is the most likely person in your life that's going to call you when a GM might, where you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I've been running that through my mind all week. Who calls me all the time? Probably one of my stupid friends. I don't think any family would dare do that, but I got some knucklehead friends for sure.
Like when the draft is on, even tonight, right? It's like, do not call me. I'm going to answer every call from numbers I don't know. Do you think there'll be a telemarketer that you accidentally talk to tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, I think a telemarketer call like every day. I know the area code though, so we'll be okay. I won't answer that. Feel the vibration in the pocket, get your heart going, and you look down and okay, really?
Yeah, iPhone helps you out there, right? Telemarketer, yeah.
Jaren Hall is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Let's rewind a little bit to essentially the end of the Stanford game, your last regular season game. You didn't play in the bowl game. So from the Stanford game on to where we are now today, what have those last 4 months been like for you overall?
Yeah, it's just been really busy. I moved out to California right after Christmas, started training with my agency, training with John and 3D QB out there in Huntington Beach. And so I was really out there until pro day. Lived there, brought my wife and my daughter with me, and I trained all day, every day. And it was busy, Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Day, just a lot of football. Your mind's just focused on that and that alone, and it's a good change up, good change of pace. No more school. As fun as that was, you're just going to play football now and focus on your career, and it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. It's been tough. It's been a long couple months, but I'm excited for what's to come here in the next few weeks. Did
you end up graduating, or do you have a little bit left?
You had to ask me that question. Yeah, you think 5 years at a school you graduate, but now I'm one class short. Got a nice little American Heritage class I got to take, and then I'm through.
Did you say American Heritage?
Oh,
you left it like that till the end. Nice.
Oh, I'm a procrastinator.
I don't believe you whatsoever when you say that. You seem like the most prepared dude like ever. That's okay, man. There have been plenty of dudes who have gone on and played, and they take the class later. Steve Young came back and got a law degree in the offseason when he was starting for the Knights. It's like, you know what I mean? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. All right. Where do you feel like you kind of nailed this pre-draft process? And what are some of the attributes that you feel like you give right away to a team that helps them?
Just from some feedback, I think, interviews, did a great job. I think I left a great impression on a lot of organizations, a lot of management. And then, I think Pro Day helped out a lot, being healthy finally and being able to throw at full capacity. I think cleared up a lot of doubts that, some people had in my physical abilities and my ability to throw the ball. I just think attributes, just maturity. My age is, a lot of people talk about it being a downer, but really through this process, I haven't heard much about it from teams. And on the flip side, I think the maturity helps me a lot. And so I think that, along with developing physically and continuing to do so will really help me, as I've shown I can continue to get healthier. And, I think those are two things that I think of right away.
So there's so much mystery around as you prepare for the draft, what happens with your agent and those circles. And Ryan Tollner is a guy that has dealt with some big-time quarterbacks, most notably Ben Roethlisberger, Jared Goff, and he's worked with Carson Wentz. So being a part of that agency and his team and having the pro day you did, Jaren, what has that done for you to help you prepare for the NFL draft?
Yeah, having a guy like Ryan in your corner to talk to whenever, throughout the week, it's been super helpful. Ben, I think, was his first client. And you look where we're at there now. He'll be a Hall of Fame quarterback and had a phenomenal career, and he's got a lot of guys, that will follow suit. But having a guy like that, just the experience, the presence that he brings of confidence, no matter what happens. That's the biggest thing is you never know how this draft will shake up. I've heard so many different things from so many organizations and different people, but he's always there just to help keep me kind of focused on, focusing on me, continuing to get better, and just taking advantage of whatever situation I get. And that's the best approach for me to take because there's so many questions about it. So just focus on what you can. That's what him and the rest of Rep 1 Sports, that's kind of the attitude they bring. And I love working with everybody there. It's really fun. Along those lines, do you have a good sense of who might take you? You hear things. I won't share anybody in particular today, but I've had, especially the last couple of weeks, a lot of visits, a lot of workouts and whatnot. So I think there's a handful of teams I know really like me, but it's just a matter of where they see me falling in their draft picks, and that's something I can't control.
Jaren, you've obviously touched on some of the things and many of the things that you do well, and there are many. But in terms of feedback and what you hear back from teams after Pro Day and after the Combine and people that have looked at your film, where do you feel like they have been, let's say, critical and have challenged you to get better?
Yeah, I think one, just availability. I think that's something that got better throughout my career. I missed fewer games this last season than the year before. And I think there's certain throws around the field they want to see, improve. And I think that just comes with the reps. There's a lot of concepts we run at BYU, and there's a lot of concepts that we don't. But that's every quarterback going to the NFL is going to have to do something that he hasn't done before. And so that's no different than a lot of other guys in the draft class. There's certain things you got to work on. So for me, it's new concepts and new throws and continuing to prove that I can be available. That's the biggest thing in the quarterback position. Your best asset is being available. So I got to prove that I can do that. Yep, best ability, availability, as they say. Yeah. Okay, so obviously we've looked at the Zach Wilson situation with the Jets, being thrown in and being the guy, and it was cool that he got an opportunity to play right away, but also can be a challenge. What's your thought process on sort of like wanting to play right away versus what you did at BYU, which was you were the backup for a couple years, and then when it was your time, perhaps you're more ready, or maybe you're like, no, I want to play right away. Yeah, I think both come with unique challenges and circumstances. Being a backup, you got to make sure you stay locked in always. It's easy to kind of fall off and be forgotten by yourself and others. So you got to make sure you're present and you're competing and always preparing like you're the guy. And then as a starter, obviously going into a new league, it's tough. Zach did a great job with it in his rookie season, and you can see that there's a lot of potential for all rookie quarterbacks to ball out and play well. But it's just about attacking those moments and really looking forward to that competition. But there's a lot of growing curves that come with that. And so for me, it's wherever I'm placed, wherever I'm asked to do, I'm attack that and do the best I can. BYU quarterback Jaren Hall is now in NFL draft weekend. He is with us on BYU Sports Nation. I know you don't want to talk specific teams, and I certainly understand
I do.
That.
Seahawks. Let's go, baby.
Okay, we have that on the table from Jaren for sure.
I've talked to Jaren about this already.
That would be awesome. Okay, I'm not going to make you talk about specific teams, but in your opinion, what type of situation and scheme best fits your skill set right now?
Yeah, I think, scheme-wise, the beautiful thing about playing for A-Rod and Grimes before is we've had a lot of versatility in our offense. We've changed throughout the years, and we've done a lot of different stuff that I think translates really perfectly into the NFL and the type of game you see today. So scheme-wise, I think there's a lot of things that I can fit just due to my athleticism and my ability to grow as a pocket passer every year. The more time I spend with John and his group there. And then, situationally, I think I just got to be prepared for whatever. I think a lot of feedback I'm getting right now is it's not going to be a place necessarily where you go start. So being a backup and a guy who's building up for that moment is something that I'm kind of planning for. But obviously, if I'm thrown into a situation I got to play, I'll make sure I'm ready for that too.
You're one snap away, as all backups are, as you mentioned. Okay, when you were younger, and obviously you played a bunch of sports, you're a great athlete. At what point did you think, I want to be an NFL player?
I think just when I first started watching NFL on TV, hearing about my dad's college career and playing the CFL for a few years, being in a community that loves sports. All my friends were kids on my baseball, basketball, football team. So I don't think it was just football. I think, it was the MLB, it was the NBA, whatever it was, whatever sport I was playing at the time. I always envisioned playing professionally. And as I got older and things started to kind of happen and be laid out in front of me, it just turned into the NFL. That's something that I really started loving, in junior high and high school, being recruited to college. And it just kind of built every single year as I got a little older and a little closer to this.
Because you played baseball in college, as you mentioned. So the NFL, was that sometime in like junior high, high school, or was it still at BYU where you were thinking MLB might be a possibility?
MLB was a little bit. I wasn't great. Checking my stats, I did not have a great first year in baseball. off an injury, had a good series against New Mexico, and then COVID cut that off short. But I think the NFL was always what I wanted more. I think it's a lifestyle that I'd rather have. Baseball is all year round. It never stops. It's tough on a family, and the NFL is still tough on a family, but you have a lot more time off, and it's just more family friendly. And frankly, I just fell in love with football, as I started playing the last few years, and it's really continues to develop.
BYU's in a unique situation because we've talked about Zach Wilson, who is already in the NFL. You're about to be drafted. And then there are hopes that Kedon Slovis has a great season and becomes the third consecutive BYU quarterback to get to the league. So let's talk the advice game a little bit, starting with what advice has Zach Wilson given to you at a time like this? And in turn, after you answer that, what advice have you given to Kedon Slovis as he takes over at BYU?
Yeah, I think, when I first got the job at BYU, me and Zach talked a little bit. And I don't think it was as much of what he said as what I took from him in his preparation, watching him very closely. And you hear it all around the league now in the NFL. The dude loves football. He's the most prepared guy. It's what he spends his time doing. And I hear that from other guys that work with him like John and anybody else. So seeing the preparation he puts into it, that's the one thing I've always taken away from Zach. And I know that's something he prides himself on, and he's always the most prepared guy. So that's something that I've always taken from Zach and appreciated, watching him so closely for so many years. And Kedon, when he was coming to BYU, I'm not a guy that loves to give a ton of advice. They're grown and like to do their own thing. And I just told him that he's going to love BYU. It's the greatest fan base to play for. But, expectations can never be something that gets in the way of you having confidence in playing. I don't know if I said that to him or not, but, if he listens to this, that's one thing. BYU, it's a special place. He's got a lot of great teammates and the best coaching staff in the country around him.
He saw you catch a pass against him in 2019. That happened against USC. I remember that, right? Or did you throw to Zach in that play? I'm trying to remember.
I think I threw that one. I think Zach
threw that one to Zach. That's right. You're like, hey, we both completed passes in that game. Well, yeah, that's what's up. Let's finish with this. You certainly have added your name into the pantheon of BYU great quarterbacks. Do you feel like you're in that club? And if so, where?
I don't know if I'm going to put myself anywhere. I mean, I'm sure you know how I answer this question already. That's for, the fans to decide. I know they love doing that stuff. But I just want to be a guy who could come in and leave, an impact on the program, on the fans. And I think after a few years, I did a decent job at doing that. I had a lot of great teammates around me. So it wasn't all me by any means. A lot of great players I was able to distribute to, but I think the teams that we had the last few years have really put a mark in BYU history football and some of the great things we accomplished. And, maybe when my time's done in the NFL, then we could talk about where I'm at in that line of quarterbacks.
I love it. What a journey we've had with you. You signed February 3rd, 2016, and here we are 7 years and 2 months later with the NFL draft, man.
Listen, it's great and all. You're going to be an NFL quarterback. Awesome. Fantastic. The greatest thing you've accomplished is handling an almost 2-year-old, Jaren. Let's face it. That is the greatest accomplishment day in and day out.
Gray hairs on.
Good luck. Refuting and pushing away those gray hairs as your children grow older. Congratulations, as Jarom said it. We wish you the best, man. Can't wait to watch how things unfold this weekend.
Seahawks third round. Let's go.
We will be talking to you soon, wherever you go. Can't wait to watch it, man.
Thanks, Jaren.
It was a pleasure.
Jaren Hall, BYU quarterback, awaiting the call.
I saw Jaren yesterday at Spanish Oaks Golf Course. That dude can play golf, as all the great BYU guys can. Best of luck to him. And again, it's been a great journey. He signs. He goes on a mission. He comes back. He's the backup. He gets a chance in 2019 to start. And it was a really fun journey. 21, 22 were tremendous. And here we are, man, in the draft. This has been awesome.
I commend him for staying even because, and he referenced it. He's like, I've heard and seen everything. He's seeing everything that we're seeing and hearing.
He's the most interested in
right?
it. Yeah.
Like he's seen everything from early 3rd round to likely 5th round. Maybe he slides to the 6th round. Now there's 7th round projection.
Right.
He's just trying to stay even, and that's tough.
Ultimately, team matters more than round for him. Team matters the most. Yes.
Absolutely.
What's the offense? Who's the OC? Who's the starting quarterback right there? If you missed any interviews, shows, Deep Loser games, you can find them on BYUSN.com or download the free BYU TV app.
Up next, how exactly is Aaron Rodgers going to make Zach Wilson's life, and I quote, heaven? This is BYU Sports Nation.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Welcome to a partnership where customer experience comes first. It's our focus. It's your expectation. We provide support to those that go the extra mile for all of us. Supplying products, training, and service for generations. Learn more at bradyindustries.com.
Utah is a special place. Our communities, the people, the history. There is no place quite like Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're honored to say that we are from Utah. We live here, work here, and when someone is injured, we're proud to say we've helped a neighbor when they've needed it most. We know Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're here for you.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
This is where we dominate. Our playground, place of business. This is our promised land, where we seek to find ourselves. And we're here to make sure the spaces our best prove themselves on appear how they should. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
Mark?
Some of my favorite moments are hearing from the family room just a chorus of laughter.
'Twas your mother's.
BYU TV has been an escape and a refuge for me. We forgot about random acts. We love that one.
Today we wanted to do something nice for you.
I see that change on him after that show.
It just brightened everybody's day.
I can do this.
I want to live my life in a way that show showed me.
Follow BYU Sports Nation on social media for content throughout the day: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
He is Jarom Jordan. I am Spencer Linton. Let's whip it on draft day. Cougar Whip Round presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
Aaron Rodgers said, "I'm going to make Zach Wilson's life heaven off the field," referencing Zach saying, "I'm going to make whoever the starter's life hell on the field," right? What do you think he means by that?
I think he means exactly what he explained it to be during the follow-up questions, and that is, it's my job to help him rediscover his confidence and his swagger. Aaron Rodgers doesn't just throw around compliments. That's not his style. And when he practiced against the Jets last year, he was like, dude, that guy has an arm. He can absolutely sling it. He's got a lot of really, really high-level skills. Aaron Rodgers knows what Zach Wilson could do. To make his life heaven off the field is just to help him reestablish general confidence, right?
Yes.
Maybe teach him how to work in the media a little bit better, how to be a little bit more media savvy. Like, that's tough.
Call Pat McAfee maybe and be on the show. I said in the first segment, but Aaron Rodgers is giving his backup what Brett Favre did not do to Aaron Rodgers as the backup, which is, let me help you.
I love it.
He is not threatened by him.
I love it.
He is there to be a good teammate. That says a lot about Aaron Rodgers.
I like Aaron Rodgers. I respect him even more.
I like him even more now.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's awesome.
That's a classy move. Yeah.
Okay, this is fantastic.
We should have brought this up with Jaren.
Yes, we should have. We ran out of time. There's a doppelganger thread going around NFL draft style from Jim Weber on Twitter.
Yes.
And so many of them are hilarious. Jaren Hall shows up as A.C. Slater from Saved by the Bell. The dimple. The dimple is what does, and then the curly hair.
Yep.
This is so well played by Jim Weber. Nicely done.
I like it. You know, Saved by the Bell is a show that you and I grew up. That's in our wheelhouse, our age. That's an older pick of Jaren, probably, right? That Jim used. I think this is spot on. I think it's like, well, almost spot on. It's close. Like, it's pretty good.
Why is A.C. Slater wearing number 73?
Was he a lineman? Like,
he's not big enough to be a...
Come on now.
One, he's a wrestling star for the Bayside Tigers.
Yeah, come on, Mario Lopez.
But 73 on the football team? Hey, that's really, really funny.
Dude, Kelly Kapoor. Holy schneckes. BYU baseball and UNC Greensboro combined for 73 runs last week, smashing the over of 43 we set. How are you feeling about the over-under of 43 against Portland?
Wait a second. Wasn't it Kelly Kapowski?
Kapowski.
Yes.
Who's Kelly Kapoor? I have no idea who that
is that from The Office?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Very different.
Very different. Very different.
Okay, to answer your question, I'm feeling good about 43 runs total combined over the 3 games. Just because BYU's offense has been red hot and their pitching has been not good, we're probably going to see a bunch of shootouts again. So, yeah, I'm taking the over again on the 43 runs combined between the two teams.
I'm confident in the over. Yeah. Put me down for the over.
That's 15 runs a game
combined.
Based on what we've seen over the last 3 weeks, this feels like a lock.
Austin Deming might single-handedly drive in 15 the way he's playing right now.
He drove in 6 runs himself in his last game.
He's balling out, dude. He's good.
A Little League Association in New Jersey
this is so good.
Has installed a new rule. I love this.
Everywhere, please.
It cites, any parent who argues with an umpire will be required to volunteer as an umpire.
How do you enforce that?
For 3 games before being allowed to return as a spectator. Okay, we both have kids playing youth sports.
Yes.
Is this a good idea?
It's not a good idea. It's a great idea. Last year, Venna played softball. She was 8. I could not stand a couple of the parents on our team. It was like, what is this, the World Series?
They're 7 years old!
Are there millions of dollars at stake? Like, you guys are such idiots.
Screaming at a 13-year-old umpire. Boo!
The umpire's crying. I'm like, what are we doing? This was not uplifting for anyone.
Why?
Like, you guys stink.
Why?
Like, you as people stink. Like, don't be that person. Like, just coach and be encouraged.
Yes. Just expect it to be frustrating as a parent. It's okay. Just manage your expectations.
You're not having fun. What about the little kid? Come on now.
Good grief. Yeah, I'm on board for this.
I love that. I don't complain to the ump.
I keep my mouth shut. I might say something to my wife like,
"No,
oh, that was brutal."
I'm just cheering on the team.
Whatever. They're 13, 14, and 15-year-old kids making like $8 an hour.
And then someone will be like, "Do you want to do some play-by-play to this game?" And it's like, not for free, I don't. Not for free.
Up next, BYU men's golf. They got a big day on graduation day.
Go, brethren.
West Coast Conference Championships. Carson Lundell previews the tournament next on BYU Sports Nation.
Go, baby.
He's really good.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
If you're looking to build your brand awareness and increase market share as BYU moves into the Big 12, this is the place, BYU Athletics. We can provide the tools you need to make sure your company is seen and heard. BYU Athletics is where you can align your products and services with loyal fans that cheer for our Cougars. And they can also help your business win. Learn more about what a partnership with BYU Athletics and your company will look like. After all, this is the place. Email sponsorship at byu.edu today.
Introducing the Truck for Adventure. The all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier doesn't compromise on power or comfort. This midsize truck was redesigned to incorporate the latest technology and designs for safety, comfort, and convenience. Plus, with up to 6,700 pounds of towing capacity and best-in-class horsepower, it's rugged enough for adventure and still safe enough to transport all your favorite people. Where's your new Frontier? You'll find it at Tim Dallin Nissan Southtown and South Jordan.
When we were children, we used to call it the Secret Garden. We used to have all sorts of adventures there.
When can I see the secret garden?
She can't find the door.
Didn't you leave her the key?
Yes. Don't you see? It's not working. It can't open the door.
There's something very strange about this garden.
They say if you have the key and can open the door, then you know the garden's secrets.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation live from Studio B. I had a chance to speak with standout golfer Carson Lundell of BYU men's golf before they take on the West Coast Conference Championships. He's one-on-one on BYU Sports Nation.
Carson, this is your final go-around with BYU men's golf in the West Coast Conference. So with that context in play, what does this year's WCC tournament and a shot at a championship mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, I've wanted. We've had some really good teams while I've been here, and we've fallen short pretty much every year. We didn't get the chance to compete the COVID year, which we felt we had a great chance to win it. But we're always just falling short of Pepperdine. I think we've taken second, once or twice, and they've had some phenomenal teams and have another top 10 team in the country this year. And to beat them, we got to play really good. But we know what we're capable of. We've shown we can go super, super deep, and we've got the firepower. So we got to come out swinging.
What type of momentum do you have right now, having won again the Ping Cougar Classic as a team on your home course, as you go into your last opportunity to best Pepperdine and win the West Coast Conference Championship?
Yeah. Anytime we're coming off a win, things feel pretty good. I do think though that we felt like we had a lot left in the tank at the Cougar. So I think our best golf is still definitely to come. And yeah, we're super excited. We just got done with our practice round, and the course it's pretty sweet. So we're excited. It's super cool.
Now, it's interesting. You said that you still had a lot in the tank. You won the tournament. So where specifically do you feel like as a team you can go even lower?
It was at Riverside, our home course that we play every day. And, I think we played good. We didn't play great. And it's just catching that momentum, right? And just trying to peak at the right time. And I think this is, the next few weeks is going to be the perfect time to peak. And so, I think we got some more putts we need to make. We got some more fairways we got to hit and some more greens we got to hit. So
you're in Bremerton, Washington. You just mentioned that you love the course. In your words, it's pretty sweet. Walk us through the track and what type of a course it's like.
Oh man, well, a lot of trees. So it's like a tree line track, but some good elevation changes. It's just like a typical, I guess, Washington course that you would kind of expect. Super green, pretty soft. And yeah, a lot of trees. So you gotta hit it straight, and but it's not like super narrow. So you gotta hit it straight and hit the greens, right?
Now, your future certainly includes a lot of golf in it. You have professional aspirations. But before we go there, as a senior now on this team, and certainly with the desire to go and win a West Coast Conference Championship, how do you handle the pressure and the desire to go and get something that has eluded you as a player while you've been at BYU?
Yeah. I think it's just, all just a quick of what I've learned here at BYU. Throughout my time here, I've had a lot of times where the pressure and the expectations been really big, and I've had times I've delivered, I've had times I haven't been, and I think that this week is no different. I mean, the great thing is we're just we're all just having fun, we're playing well, and I don't necessarily know if there's a ton of expectation and pressure because we're not the favorites, right? Looking at it as it's my last West Coast Conference Championship, that makes it a little different, but at the same time, it's like just want to enjoy it. It's my last one. I couldn't have enough good things to say about my time here at BYU and Coach Miller and Coach Brockbank. So it's just just enjoy my last few tournaments, my last few rounds with those guys, and try to play well while doing it, right? Make it a memorable one.
Carson Lundell is on BYU Sports Nation. Obviously, over the next month and a half, your focus is on the West Coast Conference Championships. Then you get to regionals. Hopefully that extends into nationals. But once that's over, walk us through your personal timeline as you begin your next golf adventure.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% certain what that looks like at this point right now, but I'll definitely turn pro following the season, and and it's nose in the dirt and just hard work, hard grind. Luckily the school aspect will be over, so I'll have a little bit more time and focus my full attention on golf. But so I'll turn pro and I'll probably do some mini tour stuff and a lot of state opens, and then I'll do a lot of Monday qualifiers this summer. For Canadian Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. So I'm super excited because the cool thing about golf is it can happen to anyone. It's all about timing. If you get hot at the right time, by August, if things go crazy well, I might be on the PGA Tour. Like you never know. And it could literally happen to anyone. And so that's the cool thing. It just takes one good week. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
Fantastic. What does it mean to have your buddy Peter Quest living that life right now as he pursues, the consistent tour card and having him go through that?
Yeah. It's really cool because, Peter hangs around Provo and American Fork still. And so I see him quite a bit. And I credit a lot of my success to him and to Rhett and those older guys who I was able to watch and come in, and they were both, all-American players, and got to see kind of how they did things and just kind of see the blueprint and then see where they're at now. And so, it's super helpful to have those guys, in my corner and to see, how they've done it. And then obviously we've got, Coach Summerhays, who was here last year, and Fishburne and Blair, and, so many other guys out there that are just more than willing to help and more than willing to give their time and their knowledge. So it's a good spot.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll finish up with this. First of all, are you done with finals?
I've got like this little essay, just a tiny little essay, and then that's it. First thing I'm doing when I get back to the hotel, then it's over. It's over. I'm done.
I'm so excited for you to finish that, because there's no greater feeling than finishing that last final. So best of luck with that. Give you some BYU Sports Nation karma to go and write an awesome essay, finish up your schooling, and certainly to go compete well in the West Coast Conference Championships. Carson, always good to talk to you, brother. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Carson Lundell from Bremerton, Washington. BYU just teed off a little while ago.
Yep.
One player has posted a score. It's Max Brenchley.
Yep. Lefty crusher.
He's even through one.
Unbelievable.
He's a guy that absolutely has capability to go super low for BYU.
I feel like every BYU player does. Got a good squad.
We just heard Carson reference one of his good buddies, Rhett Rasmussen, who has fired a 7 under 65 in the first stage of U.S. Open qualifying at Casablanca Golf Club in Mesquite,
Everyone
Nevada.
knows that drives by it.
He took the medalist honors. He shot the best round of anybody there.
That was yesterday. That was great.
Yeah, next round is on May 22nd.
Okay, good luck to the Cougs. Also, shout out Todd Miller and Spencer. Just got a rip. It's like the Pink Panther old school logo.
Yep.
Here. It looks like Cosmo, but I think it's actually the Pink Panther from back in the day.
1981 national champs.
That's what's up. 81 was a pretty good year on campus.
Was.
I think it's perhaps the greatest year in BYU sports history.
I was also born in 1981.
You're so old. We argued that 21 was actually better than 81. So you can go back and watch that show. It's probably not true. BYU softball has a doubleheader with San Diego tomorrow at 7 Eastern on the BYU TV app. It's been fun to see the Cougs launching bombs last couple days.
Indeed. More Hunter Ava. Let's go.
Oh, so good.
Rise and shout out to all of you heading out into the great world. Enter to learn, go forth to serve.
And make a buck.
Next on BYU Sports Nation.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by The BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Does your dream of home ownership feel impossible? At Mountain America, we want to remind you the dream is alive. We are here to craft a personalized mortgage loan based on your needs. You can live your dream. And now, for a limited time, receive a free appraisal. Our one-on-one guidance and quick application process will bring your dream to life. Reach out to a Mountain America mortgage expert today.
Mark?
Some of my favorite moments are hearing from the family room just a chorus of laughter.
'Twas your mother's.
We watch it. We watch it every single Sunday.
Every single Sunday.
We forgot about random acts. We love that one.
Today, we wanted to do something nice for you. You ready for that?
I don't know.
I see that change in him after that show.
Ruby's doing a selfless thing to help others. I can do this.
BYU TV has been an escape and a refuge for me. It just brightened everybody's day.
I love how it shows how different families work together.
There's so many beautiful things out there.
These are the type of people that really make the world a better place.
That's our family show to watch.
I'm your brother.
And that one has really resonated with us.
That's how to do it.
I want to live my life in a way that that show showed me.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
BYU Sports Nation's on demand. Download the free BYU TV and BYU Radio apps or listen to the pod. Subscribe, rate, and review.
Our question of the day, what would good, better, and best look like for BYU football in the 2023 NFL Draft? It's day one today. Nobody's going to be taken tonight from BYU, but
I don't think so.
Somebody could be taken tomorrow. And
we hope there are 2 picks tomorrow.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Our first response, or our next response, comes from BYU and the NFL on Instagram. Says,
That's
good,
quite the Instagram given the subject.
Good, these 3 dudes getting drafted.
Yeah.
Better, these guys all going in the first 5 rounds.
Okay.
Best, more than just 3 get drafted.
That would be great.
Caleb Hayes sneaks in.
Caleb Hayes. What if Chris Brooks somehow goes in the 7th
round? Oh.
Like, who knows, right?
All right. Our Elite Voice today presented by PAX Healthcare Elevated.
Okay, I asked Jaren if he had graduated Hall earlier. He said he still has American Heritage to take. One of us. One of us.
The first class I took.
Gideon George, you were academic All-State. You were a good student. Jaren was a good student, too. He was just a quarterback at BYU and a baseball player. Gideon George tweeted to me, tweeting about Jaren's situation there. Ha, 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 the best class. He'll love it. And then I have people, saying, wait a minute, you taking it at Salt Lake? Or didn't your AP U.S. history class count maybe? Or yeah, people are weighing in. Like more on academics than, some of the sports stuff, which is fun.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Today's Rise and Shout Out presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
All the BYU students graduating, congratulations, bachelor's, master's, PhDs, and so on. That's awesome. It's hard to graduate. BYU is an awesome school, so congratulations. We're glad we got a parking spot today. That was kind of our number one focus.
Barely.
Just barely getting commencement on BYU TV. They're having a great time over there.
We're just working over here.
Just working. We got a show.
Thanks to Jaren Hall and Carson Lundell.
Sorry, Dennis.
For Jarom and Spencer, shout out to Dean Wilson of BYU Golf. See you tomorrow on BYU Sports Nation. Go Cougs.